everybody. Welcome back to Wiki Good Sports. This is Power Play, and we're joined as always by Chris Uminski. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian. How are you?
Doing pretty well. So let's just get into it. COVID, kind of a thing, not just for sports, but for the whole world. But specifically, how's it impacted the NHL?
So, at this point right now, we're recording this Monday the 20th. At
Yes.
this point right now, I think we're trending towards the season being paused.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Not that
we're
surprising.
it's not. Right now, 8 teams are shut down until at least December 26th. And the Flames are down through the 23rd. And today, the Toronto Maple Leafs shut down. Yesterday, the Montreal Canadiens shut down. And at least in Canada, it's not happening in the United States yet, but in Canada, they're starting to do restrictions on attendance.
Mm-hmm.
The province of Quebec today just announced that there's going to be no fans in attendance at Canadiens games.
Yeah, I do wonder. On the one hand, if it follows a similar trajectory to the past, we should be expecting to see similar things in the United States. On the other hand, it almost seems like we're just like pretending this doesn't happen from a government standpoint, even though it's like raging throughout the land. So I don't know, Chris. What do you think we'll get like not only like a league shutdown, but like attendance, changes and stuff?
I think that's a good question because I don't know if attendance is really going to be affected much unless it gets really bad. Here the vaccination rate in the United States in most places is pretty good.
Mm,
In Canada they're shutting down because Quebec right now is just going through a monster surge
yep.
of it. So nowhere else in Canada are the restrictions that strict.
Mm,
Strict. But I guess like in the states, it's going to be on like a state by state basis.
right.
Like I don't foresee like Texas or Florida doing.
Certainly not Florida. I watched the Buccaneers game last night, and it was packed. So I don't think they're thinking of shutting anything down.
Yeah, and so far, even like in Massachusetts, you just have to show proof of vaccination. Which I
Right.
think that's the system that I think most people are leaning on is letting
Mm,
the local governments do set the rules.
yeah. So we'll obviously keep an eye on it. I mean, the Bruins have had their fair share of COVID cases. Is that right?
Yes. The Bruins are one of the teams that are shut down right now.
Yep.
It seems like every day we're seeing more players and coaches getting added to COVID protocol. Taylor Hall and Curtis Lazar were put on yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, you called it. You called it. Like, well, it was Calgary, right? That they played that
Yeah.
then had, and then you were like, well, now the Bruins are probably going to have an outbreak, and here we are.
Yep. It's spread from Calgary right to the Bruins.
Mm,
And like I was just looking at the lists today of all the players that are out right now. The two teams with the most players out are the Bruins and the Flames.
yeah. So you could probably trace it back to someone on the Calgary Flames for this.
Yeah.
So not great. Um, well, all right. So COVID might affect the league. It might shut it down, and that might affect something else. Is that right?
Yes. Um, the NHL, nothing official has been announced from the league yet, but so far, closest very source to the league and to the Players Association have indicated that the NHL will not be participating in the Olympics.
That's a big blow. I
It,
feel
it,
like
oh no, I agree. That it's a big blow. The last Olympics, the NHL didn't participate in either, and I think it's just so bad for the sport not
mhm.
to have the NHL participate.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, what happens when the NHL doesn't participate? Is it college players who go on?
Yeah, it's usually like college players, minor league players.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which there's even I'll talk about this in a minute. There's in just a few days there's a big international tournament
Mm-hmm.
starting, which is just the college kids and high school kids.
Oh, all right.
Um, or like that age group. So
Mm-hmm.
we're likely going to be seeing a lot of them on the Olympic teams. I think there's a part of me that likes that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an American, so I'm very nostalgic for the 1980
Of course.
U.S. Olympic Miracle on Ice team,
Mm-hmm.
and that team didn't have any professionals on it. It was just the college kids,
Mm-hmm.
just the amateurs.
Yeah.
There's something kind of alluring about that, but I wish the NHL was going.
Yeah.
As far as I know, the other major hockey leagues around the world have not pulled out yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll still see like Extraliga teams from the Czech Republic and KHL teams from Russia sending their players, and that makes me nervous for Team USA.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, these are technically the 2020 Winter Olympics or 2021. I don't know. It's like 40 years since Lake Placid, something like that.
42. This will be 42
years. All right. So, maybe, Chris, maybe we can get a repeat. We can have a new miracle on ice.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be nice. Of course, though, too, like the Russian Olympic Committee team, since they're not actually Team Russia.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that.
They're not going to have any of their NHL players, so they're not going to have Alex Ovechkin. They're not going to have Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a huge deal. I mean, we just talked about how Ovechkin's, close to getting that record. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm sure we'll cover how the Team USA does one way or another. Whoever ends up being on Team USA.
Yes.
So
I'll be covering that very closely on here.
I'm looking forward to that. I had a lot of fun last summer covering the women's soccer team with Jenny for the Olympics. I just think it's listen, the Olympics, lots of issues, but it is fun to root for your home, team in there. At least it is as someone from the United States, because we usually do decently.
In most things, yeah.
Most things, right? All right. So, any more stories you want to touch on?
Yeah. So coming back to NHL, things that are happening in the NHL and not just things that aren't. So a few nights ago, I feel like a big thing in sports the last week or so has just been terrible, awful concussion injuries.
Yeah, I mean, hey, football, we had the Chargers, Parham, have one of the scariest concussions I've ever seen in my entire life. Watched a lot of football, and that was certainly one of those moments where you're like, oh, should I be watching football? Is this like a okay sport to be this into?
Joe Buck is an asshole.
That was sometimes not saying something is better than saying something, and Joe Buck certainly put his foot in his mouth there.
Yeah. But in the NHL, we did have a very, very scary hit, similar to the Parham hit in the NFL. What happened was the Chicago Blackhawks are playing the Dallas Stars, and Brett Connolly, who's a winger for the Blackhawks, charges Tanner Kero and hits him with his shoulder upside the head and knocks his head into the boards. He goes down in sort of one of those like prone positions. And he had to get taken off the ice in a stretcher.
Yeah, something you never want to see in any sport.
Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, one of those things that makes you think, why do I watch this? And don't get me wrong. I am all for violence in sports. I wouldn't be a hockey fan if I was
Right,
against
right.
violence in sports. But there is a line to.
Yes. No, of course. You never want to see someone get knocked out and go, stiff. That's the part that really it gets at your inner mind, or you're just your primal instincts are like, oh my god, this is horrific.
Like, it's different than watching Zdeno Chara just beat the absolute shit out of somebody and fuck up their face.
Right. Different than that. That was a very classic hockey fight from the other night. Oh man.
I've been looking at that picture lately just when I need to smile.
Also, I mean, some props to that guy for fighting Zdeno Chara, because no way, no, you could not get me to do that for any amount of money. But yeah, no, back to the original point. Obviously, hopefully he's gonna be okay. Do we have an update?
So he does. So Kiro does have a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not surprising. Looking at the hit, it's one of those things that just makes you go, ooh, when you see it. Mm-hmm. Brett Connolly was assessed a 5-minute major for, they called it interference on the ice. Which in the context, I guess, yeah, because he was going after the puck. Mm-hmm. Kiro was.
Right.
But the hit was in such a way that Kiro was defenseless.
Right.
So the call was good on the ice. So he was given a 5-minute major for that and a game misconduct. So rather than just serve the 5 minutes, he was thrown out of the game.
Right. So that's probably the right call.
Oh yeah. And this is one of the situations too where you're not going to hear me say this very much, but the NHL got it right.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that in the history of our show. So this is a big moment.
The NHL got this one right. They suspended Brett Connolly for 4 games, mm-hmm. Which that's the right call. I would 4 or 5. I would have given him for that. It didn't look like he hit him on purpose that hard. I guess I don't know. He didn't look like he tried to hurt him, but he did.
Right. Oh man. So just one of those things, right? It's hopefully nothing like that happens anytime soon again.
Yeah. No, scary stuff.
Definitely. All right, Chris. Anything else you want to touch on before we get on out of here?
I think that's it. I wish I could say go Bruins right now, but.
Not right now.
The story of this season for the Bruins has been, are we going to play? When are we playing? When's the next game? When's the last time we played?
Hey, it'll be late in the season. We're going to have a month straight of games or something to make up for everything.
I mean, I'm hoping for another short off season. The short off season was nice.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, Chris, where can we find you online?
So best spot on hockey Twitter is Chris_Uminski. Always tweeting about the Bruins, tweeting other NHL news, some dank memes also.
Definitely. Go check him out there. Great follow. And, of course, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Follow Chris on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheFakeMeMoney. Channels on Twitter at Wicked Good Sport, or the main channels on Twitter at WGEverything. Instagram, Wicked Good Everything. Twitch at twitch.tv/Wicked Everything. TikTok, search Wicked Good Everything for sketches and comedy. Search Wicked Good Sports for clips from the show. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, getting us past those 100 subscribers so we could get that custom URL. But please keep subscribing. Obviously, that would be great. And we'll see you all in the next one.